I have Nautica competition. So Mitch from Fragrance Time 3000 sent me this. I appreciate it, Mitch. You've sent me a lot of goodies, and I've been excited to smell this. I've been busy with work, but I wanted to do a first impression and talk about it. So when I sprayed this on, I thought about early 2000s sporty fragrances. Maybe a little bit of like a Creed Aventus vibe, but in a more sporty way, kind of. And kind of like a Lacoste fragrance from the 2000s. Around that time, I would say the late 2000s, I was wearing a lot of Lacoste fragrances. And I think they're good, especially for that time. I think Lacoste was my favorite designer brand. I think I was wearing Lacoste Essential, the green bottle one, around 2007. I think that's a great fragrance, and I had a lot of people tell me they like it. I had a friend that bought it, and he was a one of the I don't know about original, but he was making fragrance videos like in the 2000s, I think, and that was his favorite. And then I went to Lacoste Blanc, the EDT, and wore that for years, and people liked it. But anyway, I think this fragrance is okay for what it is. It's just a sporty fragrance. It's nothing I would go out and buy. Maybe at that time I would have liked this more. But I think overall, I was looking up the price of how much these bottles go for. I'm pretty sure it's discontinued, and I'm seeing bottles for like two or 300. And if you're thinking about spending that much, I just feel like there is better out there. I would check out Lacoste fragrances. I think people that are probably looking this fragrance up, or people that maybe wore it around the time it came out, and it's like a nostalgia thing. But I'm here to tell you there's other fragrances like this that smell just as good as not better that you can still buy today. Like it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's better than most designers now. I'm just not a fan of designers that are in store now. Since like 2018, I would say, like designers started going down a bad path for me. When they first started getting into that more sweet men's designers, like it was all right at first, but then everything smelled the same. Even before that, and around that time too, a lot of blue fragrances were coming out. But I prefer this style, like the early 2000s. But yeah, nothing stands out to me too much as far as the notes go. The notes, I couldn't say anything. I tried to think about what I smelled, and I just kind of got like maybe in Broxton, kind of like a hot steam accord, like what Hermes H24 is supposed to do. I kind of get that. Mineralic, aromatic a little bit, sporty. But the notes listed are bergamot, juniper berries, rosemary, and nutmeg. It's this Embroxen mineralic thing, but it also is warm in a way. Like there must be some amber in there or something. I'm not getting nutmeg. Yeah, there's some rosemary, I guess. Like there are aromatics. It doesn't stick out as rosemary to me. And yeah, there's a little bit of juniper berries. It kind of has this sea breeze vibe. Like it's a little bit aquatic, but it's also a little bit like a blue fragrance. Like I can see how fragrances like this were evolving into Blue de Chanel, and then Blue de Chanel just kind of took away that oceanic smell and just went all blue. I mean, this is kind of a blue fragrance. People always say, or I hear people all the time say Blue de Chanel like was the first blue fragrance. They just called it blue, but I mean, even in 2007, I bought a fragrance, Dolce & Gabbana light blue I was wearing around that time, and That was kind of blue, but I feel like Blue Day Chanel just took the mineralic, aquatic, sea breeze smell out of the fragrance and made it more shower jelly. And yeah, it's kind of a letdown, because I prefer aquatic fragrances over like that deep blue style. Yeah, I mean, as I'm wearing this, I'm kind of wearing the opening. It's drying down more kind of like Dolce & Gabbana light blue, like an aquatic. It also gives me some what's that fragrance? Like Giorgio Armani style fragrances. Um like of the 90s kind of, but mixed with kind of like Dolce & Gabbana from the late 2000s. Yeah, it's good for what it is, it's nothing special, but it's not bad either, it's about what you would expect from a Nautica fragrance or like a sporty fragrance, something like a Tommy Sport or a Polo Sport or something like that. Um, yeah, Giorgio Armani Acqua di Gio. I don't know why I couldn't think of that name. It kind of gives me some of that, some blue fragrance. It's the early 2000s. But the perfumer is Patricia Belladou, I think is how you say it. This perfumer hasn't made a lot of fragrances, but she did make one for Joe Malone in 2001 called Red Roses. And if you haven't smelled that one, I feel like it's worth giving a try if you like rose fragrances. So I have Frederic Mall's Rose Tenaire, and I feel like that perfumer kind of copied this perfumer's Joe Malone fragrance, Red Roses, but just made it more interesting with like a Gastorium and truffle accord. Red Roses from Joe Malone is similar to that without that slight animalic vibe. So the perfumer, from what I've smelled, makes good fragrances, but I haven't smelled much. But yeah, overall, Nautica competition, just kind of your decent, average, early 2000s sporty fragrance. Giving it one last smell here. Yeah, it's good, but would I say it's better than Aqua di Gio or Light Blue? You know, I wouldn't say it's better or worse, but for the money this is going for, at least I just quickly searched eBay 200, 300 brand new, 100 used. I don't think it's worth it. I understand if you owned it and you kind of just want it for like to reference, a fragrance you wore in the past, but it's not something I would pay that kind of money to wear every day. But yeah, it's interesting to see the evolution of fragrances, smelling these kind of sporty fragrances and then smelling, the blue fragrances and then the sweet amber woods. And even now, I feel like maybe designers are going more woody over the last few years. You look at Dior Homme or Burberry's fragrances, and even as more recent, a lot of designers I feel like are trying to do something more interesting. Like for a while, it was kind of like an amber woody fragrance, and then they would throw a coffee accord, or like Hermes has a new Terre de Hermes with like a lava accord, and I'm seeing men's fragrance with iris. Like overall, designers still have like a designers still have that designer smell, but I feel like they're trying to stand out a little more, which is good. But yeah, it always surprises me how these sport style aquatic fragrances kind of faded and it went to more blue fragrances. Maybe it's slightly more formal, smells more expensive. I don't know. And then even how they went to more amberwood sweet fragrances that I feel like now men's fragrances, a lot of them are unisex. I mean, even this is in a way, it's kind of just an illusion. But yeah, Nautica competition. Let me smell it one more time. Yeah, aquatic, a little bit of juniper berries, a little bit of ambroxan, oceanic. The more I smell it, the more I like it. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of fragrances that probably smell like this, and it can get difficult comparing fragrance designers sometimes because a lot of them smell so similar with different nuances. But yeah, I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. I prefer it than most designers that are out today. Yeah, it's a sporty, slightly blue aquatic fragrance. But let me know what you think of Nautica Competition if you smelled it.